What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Brute Strength Podcast. It's not the 5th episode with Miss Kelsey Kiel. It's the 2nd. So I was wrong, but welcome to the show, dude.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I had some elaborate breakdown of athletic history and things and all these and stuff planned, but we talked too long before we started recording. So
Yeah. Well, we can just talk about it.
yeah, there's so many congratulations, though. We're engaged now.
We're engaged.
What's his name?
His name's Seth Lonsway.
His name also includes like title and team, so you have to baseball wife.
Eventually, yeah.
I thought for some reason, I don't know why we'd done like 5 episodes with you, but that's
the
homework I did.
Yeah, no, just the one. A long time ago, too.
That's okay. What's going on in your life? Where are we right now? We're in Columbus, you said?
We are. I live in Columbus now. It's very cold and snow. There's a ton of snow on the ground right now. It's great. No, the sun's out today, so that's really nice. But I have never in my life lived in a house that has a garage. And I have a garage here and I just outfit it with a bunch of, it's just my little sanctuary gym now. So I don't leave the house if I don't have to leave the house, which is fun.
I was about to say, you got the whole setup now. You're never going to leave.
I know, it's really great.
DoorDash and home gym. She doesn't have to leave, folks. If you leave the house, what's the gym we're going to? Is it still Grandview?
Yeah. And I'll probably go on maybe Saturday, but I try to get there once a week.
What a gang of hooligans in there.
Hooligans.
Oh yeah, they're fun. They're always been a fun time. Even when it was Joey and Andy, and like if I would go to Columbus for the Arnold or something, I'd go in there and I just own them from teams for a while. And like, so I know that place probably misses them, but it also seems like they don't skip a beat regardless.
Nope. Yeah, I love it in there. It's just a little bit of a hike for me. So, if I don't have to drive on the snowy roads and can just stay at home and morph my training into being able to do it in my garage, then I'll do that.
What's worse, Philly winter or Columbus winter?
Columbus.
Really?
Yeah, it's just more snow
both
here.
Places are prepared.
Yeah.
And less danger.
Maybe.
Philly. All right, speaking of training.
Go Birds.
Yeah, go Birds. Go Birds. No, I'll root for him. I couldn't believe Buddy got knocked out and they kept him out in the protocol so long. But training in the garage, you're doing like usual suspect stuff, it looks like. But what's the plan this year? Are we competing? Are we just trying to be super jacked? And every time we go watch Seth play baseball, or what are we doing?
So this is this is probably the second time I've said it out loud to more than just my people in my circle. But I'm definitely not competing this year. Last year, for those who have followed along with my journey, I picked up my life and I moved down to Baton Rouge where Coach L lives and trained full-time out of his gym. And really committed to last year being kind of like my all-in year. Every single thing that I could do to better myself as an athlete and try to make it to the CrossFit Games, that's what I was doing. So really trying to leave no stone unturned. And I think, everything happens for a reason, but I was definitely the fittest I'd ever been in my entire life, and went to the West semifinal and missed qualifying by 2 spots. Pretty much missed qualifying by 1 workout, but that's okay. And, it was kind of, a lot of people kept saying like, don't worry, you'll get it next year. You were so close, blah, blah. And in my heart, like, I kind of knew that was like my all in year. I'm a little bit older. I, just have committed so much of my life to being a professional athlete. Like, I've been competing in the CrossFit space for almost 10 years. I mean, I took some time off, but my time off was to bobsled and be a high performer in a different sport. And even before CrossFit, I was a collegiate soccer player, and I just have dedicated most of my life to sport and the last 10 years to pretty high performance. So I kind of knew where my journey was taking me. I started this summer after I did not make the games. I kind of started trying to find a little bit more balance in my life, and I toyed with the idea of trying again another year. Lucky for me, Seth, my fiance, was super supportive if I did want to do that. And him and Elle and all the people kind of close to me were like, you don't have to make that decision now. Because there's a part after you don't qualify that you have to kind of mourn all of the hard work that you put in that, you didn't get to showcase at the highest part of this sport. I was in a mourning phase for a little bit, and then it just felt right to hang up my jersey for right now and kind of shift my focus a little bit, which has kind of led to, this collaboration with Brute and, the kind of overhaul and sprucing up of Brute Body.
No, it's hard. Do you think going from season to season, me and Amber talked about this, like, yesterday, and I talked to her. I was like, look, watching Kelsey come down there and live with you guys, I needed to know very little about you after that because, like, she was so happy down there. And I know how, like, what that looks like with her when the environment's right because she's like a community person, right? Like, you ain't got to go to Grandview, but there's like girlies there and dudes and like community of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I didn't need to know much more. Like, I know L's L service, like program and all that, loves a coach. Awesome, especially in person. I said, but I bet the like Kiel signs still on the wall and
It
go.
is.
And like, so seeing like the way they rallied and all that stuff, like I know there were a whole bunch of full cups just to pour into each other. And
Yeah.
so I loved watching that, dude, because I've seen, we've been friends for a long time and seen you try to, be the rose growing out of the concrete and seeing you be in a lot better soil was
Yeah.
just like, it was good to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. They're some of the best people down there. And that was part of that like mourning process. Like, shoot, okay, I gotta leave these people and leave this gym
Mm-hmm.
environment. And, even when I went down to Baton Rouge, not, a couple months ago, I was there for like 24 hours total. But I walk in that gym and it's just like, I miss it. I spent a lot of time, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears on that floor, a lot of tears. But, it's just like that was special for that time for me. And, part of this, like the battle of do I compete, do I not? Like some of the thoughts that kept popping up were like, I don't want to not be involved. Like, I love being coached by L. He pushes me to be, obviously the best athlete that I could have been going into semifinals, but also like he just challenges me in so many like really good ways. It helps me grow as a person too. And, I didn't want to not be part of the CrossFit community because that's been such a big part of my life for so long. And working with affiliates like Go down in Baton Rouge and people like Amber and, Dave at Open Box in Philly and, the Grandview people. It's just like, it's such a special just group of people. And it's a small world when it comes to the CrossFit world that I was just a little bit afraid of, if I don't compete, can I still be relevant? Can I still be part of it? And I think that's where, this mesh of Brute Body and, still doing some CrossFit. We don't not do CrossFit in this program,
Mm-hmm.
but, we're not spending 8 hours in a gym every day. And we're not, these Metcons are a little bit, they're tailored to, you don't have a ton of time. So they're not going to be your 45-minute long, just your Metcon is 45 minutes long. We're not doing that. It's a little bit more manageable. And for someone who's also trying to find the balance now in my life, it's nice to be able to commit to, okay, I got 2 hours. I got to get it done and I got to focus and put some really good training in. But then I get to go, sit down and do my job and I get to
Live some
do things
life.
like
Yeah.
this. And, it's good.
Yeah. No, but I think the common denominator in a lot of those things is like the kind of light you bring to places. I think a lot of people would agree. Like me and Nicole talked about it the other day randomly. But the going from thing to thing like college soccer, so I feel like you went into CrossFit got competitive pretty quickly. And I worry about this too, stepping out because I'm gonna sit this year, right? And it's we've been on a similar timeline. I think I was a year ahead, right? 20,
Yeah.
yeah, 16 or 15. But going from like teams or college football, you're in college soccer. I went right in, you went right in. Did team for a little while. I've done individual in spurts, and then like I love it. It's a relationship, and I think also like you said, I carved out this identity for myself in it, and whether it is what I in my head, athlete. I think a lot of times we get caught up, and it's like the worth is way deeper than that, man. And I think that it goes for both of us. I feel like. and we've done enough things together, like on different teams and stuff, like with the Ron Watts stuff back in the day and all that stuff, to for you to know that's true. So, is
Yeah.
that hard? Like, is that a hard part of putting it down? Is like, besides like the, quitting a sport or whatever, like retiring and hanging it up. But like, do you feel like the identity stuff stepping out of it's going to be like a kind of mental battle?
For sure, and I've already been unpacking that in therapy, like, every single session, come on.
Yeah.
No, it's like, obviously, a lot of people listening to this have played a sport at probably some level, CrossFitted at some level, or, whatever it is, even just your casual athlete. I like to, when I think of, like, on a nutrition coaching side, like, you go to the gym and do a CrossFit class, like, you're an athlete. Like, I love when people can consider themselves athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And it, like, almost hurts my heart when people are like, "I'm not an athlete, I just go to CrossFit." I'm like,
The
"Trust me, you're an
argument. The
athlete." Like,
argument.
yeah, like, I don't hear it, but, I think that you and me and people who are going also through this transition, of, you know, being highly competitive and then kind of stepping away from high performance, we're always going to be athletes in some regard. I think that even if it just changes to like having an athlete mindset when you are coaching people or going to your hour CrossFit class or Pilates class or whatever it is, like having, like I said, I go into my garage and I commit to the 2 hours, but in those 2 hours, I've checked in and I'm still that athlete. And I do all the things that I did when I was in Baton Rouge and I'd be in the gym for 4 hours, but I'm just doing it in a very like,
No time collapse.
yeah, like we're just like doing it in a smaller chunk.
Yeah.
So I do think that there is something to be said for like realizing we're always going to be athletes and also understanding that like we don't always have to be high performers. And it's hard to step away from that because it has been part of my life for so long, but just continuing to remind myself that, high performance in sport and CrossFit and soccer, football, bobsled, whatever it is, those are just things that we do. And that's not like who we are at our core. Sisters and friends and brothers and like we're human beings that like love and hurt and work hard and things like that. Like sport will always be there in some way, but that's not who we are at our core. So, trying to remind myself that regularly, like, these people in my life are in my life because of me and not because of my athletic ability, which has
Yeah.
been also a shift. This world that we live in right now is so around, social media is such a big focus. And, I've battled a little bit with like, okay, are people going to even care about what's going on if it's not on the big stage for CrossFit or whatever it is? And the truth is, the people that matter will stick around to see a different kind of journey. And those that don't stick around, they weren't meant to stick around. So,
Peace out.
it's not easy all the time to remember that, but
No, it's yeah, it's nasty business. But talking about time collapsing it and like the focus being different, it was hard for me. Like I'm in week 3 or whatever. I started a little bit right before we launched it just to taste it because I was like, every day I'm having to text Dale, dude, I can't do X, Y, Z because I still got the wrist thing. And like, I can still super fortunate to be able to do a lot of things I enjoy. Do I still want to like snatch and power clean and do all the things? Yeah. And I'll be able to eventually.
yeah.
But like you're saying, and dude, I don't think I've been in there more than like an hour 15. Like, and I even do like my old man warm up. But like
Yeah.
even yesterday, I don't know who, and that'll be I guess the next question is like whoever programmed like rows into like a bat wing hold. Like I'm not
It's so
pissed. I'm just
sore.
yeah, and that's the beauty of it is right. And some days like I skip the conditioning, and I think opting out of hurt my body, especially like at 36. I'm good. I'm cool. Like
Yeah.
I don't need to do the bacon sizzle and roll around, and I don't need to do that every day now. I'll do it once or twice a week,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's made my body feel so much better, and I still feel like I look the way I want, and like at least somebody will question if I'm doing high performance stuff. And I think that's the thing. So who is like writing it? Did you help write it? Are we testing and influencing on far as like pairings and things like that? Or
It's kind of, um, I want to say it's like Elle and Matt's baby,
mm-hmm.
honestly, but it was this kind of grew from what I was doing anyway. I was shifting away from 4-hour double sessions every day, and shifting into, okay, I want to be really strong. I want to also be explosive, which actually was like perfect timing because I was doing a bunch of explosive work. And then I was asked to do bobsled again, which was like, oh, hey, I'm already doing explosive work. Anyway, I wanted to like stay explosive, but I also wanted to stay like relatively fit. Like I wanted to still be able to bang out a set of 8 chest to bar and like little things like that. Now, don't ask me to do a ring muscle up. I haven't done one of those in a long time,
Same.
but I don't know. It just kind of grew from this like idea of, hey, I'm not spending forever in the gym anymore. Like, why don't we kind of like morph this program into something that, you know, if you're in a garage gym, you can do it. If you're in a CrossFit gym, you can do it. Hey, if you're in a Globo gym, in all honesty, like most of the stuff you can do. Maybe you have to adapt something a little bit here and there. But that's what's really nice about that community chat in there, because you can like toss in a, hey guys, I'm at so such and such a gym. We don't have this. Or like yesterday's workout called for wall balls and I don't have a wall ball in my garage. So I subbed out.
My ceiling's 8 feet.
It's like 7.5. No,
Yeah.
but I just didn't even, we don't even have a wall ball yet. So it's like, I didn't even have like the equipment, but then I just subbed something out and I still, you know, got the same kind of stimulus that it called for. So it just kind of grew from this like, hey, why don't we, and people have asked me before, like, are you ever going to like put out a program and blah, blah, blah. And if I'm being like totally transparent and honest, I am not a programmer. I'm
a doer.
you tell me what to do, coach, and I'll do it.
Yes.
I'll try my best. If it's really like, I don't know, sometimes it's crazy, but I'll do it or I'll try. And I've always been that way. I've never been the brains behind, you know, a program. I just like, I'm not confident in that. I like doing it. I can coach things pretty well, I think. But so that's kind of, you know, after talking with Elle about that, I was like, well, you know, I'm not going to put out a program because I'm, you know, we're going to like, whatever. I don't even know the words. I don't even know the words for programming.
But you know how to test it.
What?
You know how to test it.
I know how to do it. So that kind of, I don't know, it was definitely a collaboration between like Elle and Matt and Brute, and then like just what I was already doing and kind of like the people in my life, like following along on my journey and asking to kind of do things along with me. And it just kind of grew from that.
So talking about skill set stuff, staying explosive to me is super important too. Like that's why the muscle clean, muscle snatch days, like I'm just seated box jump, doing broad jumps and other things. I'm like, all right, still got it. We're not withering away. But talking about like skill set, man, I don't think you'll ever not be strong. Like I feel like we'll always compare it to like the strongest we ever were. And like,
yeah, for sure.
Always. It's like I caught myself doing things. I'm like, I'm just not that strong right now. And they're like, versus what, dude? Go do a class. Like, and so it's still there. But talking about skill set and like bobsled stuff, how was that kind of stepping back into it? Like, what was they just invited and said, hey, dog, come push something around a little bit.
Yeah, it was crazy, honestly. Like, I've stayed in touch with a bunch of the girls on the bobsled team, some still on the team, some not on the team anymore. But one of the girls that I met back in 2020, it was her first, or 21. I think 21 was her first season as a pilot. And I was giving it my all. And I was kind of exiting the sport as she was getting like gung ho. I'm going to be a good driver, blah, blah, blah. So, or pilot, whatever you want to call it. And her and I definitely like stayed in touch a bunch over the last couple of years. And it was so funny when I was moving from Philly to Columbus. I'm clearing out my basement and I'm moving boxes and bins around, and I have a bobsled bin. And in that bin, I kept everything. I had, old speed suits. I had my ice spikes and my helmet and my burn vest and, all these things. And I chatted with one of the pilots a little bit, and I was like, if you ever want me to like get in the back of your sled, like even just for like a practice run, like I'll do it or whatever.
You want me to suit up? I keep it.
Yeah, I'll do it. But like never in a million years thinking anyone would ask me for like an actual race. Like I was thinking like a practice run, like we'll do it for Instagram kind of deal.
Y'all raced. It was like a
Yeah,
trial.
so that a different pilot, I think I like put it out there into the universe that day. And the other girl that I keep in touch with, she had put something on her Instagram story, and I knew that also push championships with USABS was also happening kind of around the same time. And I asked her, I was like, "Oh, no push champs for you?" And just out of curiosity, and she told me she's in the Marines and she was stationed overseas, and she's like, I have about a month left, and then I come right back and I get kind of just put right into the North America's Cup, which is a circuit that you do, and you race the different North American tracks. And I was like, oh my gosh, like crazy story and blah, blah, blah. And she just out of nowhere was like, I'm doing a race in Park City. Like, do you want to be my brake woman? And I was like, so Park City is a track. In all honesty, I always said it like, if a pilot wanted me to come back for Park City, I'd do it. It was more of in my mind, it was more of a fun track than Lake Placid. Lake Placid is one of the harder tracks in the world, and it kind of beats you.
How many tracks are there in North America?
There's 2 in the US and 1 in Canada.
Okay, I was about to say, you can't just like go, oh, we're going to the track today. I was like,
Yeah, no.
that many.
Yeah. So, yeah, she asked me if I wanted to race with her in Park City in December. And at this point, I think it was like late October. And I was like, I texted Elle and I was like, I think I might go bobsled. And he's like, cool. Let's get to the track and let's start sprinting. Great. So my training actually didn't change that much because I was already jumping a lot and doing a lot of explosive stuff already. And that's a lot of bobsled is working. The people who don't know, you don't practice bobsled by getting in a bobsled. You get ready for bobsled by sprinting, doing a lot of like jumps and med ball tosses and sled pushes, like out on the road. And
it's a power athlete sport.
Yeah, and like power cleans and like jerks and things like that. You want to just be as explosive and strong as possible. And in all honesty, if you are like, unless you can get to Lake Placid where there's an indoor ice house, you're not getting on ice until you're pushing a bobsled down a track. And as a pilot, they get, 2 runs. They get 2 times down the track. And so, coming from a sport of reps on reps on reps to help with muscle memory and things like that, it's hard. It's a hard sport. So, I was just like, okay, let's see if I have any sprint left in me. Let's see if I have any push left in me. And what I was really excited about was going back into the sport. And I knew it was just for the week. I knew it was just for the races, but it was going to just be like no pressure. Like my pilot Riley was like, let's just go have fun. Let's obviously like push our asses off. I'll drive my ass off. We'll try to just like crush it, but let's also just enjoy the process and just have fun. And to me, that felt like so much different than when I tried to do it in 2020. The amount of pressure that I put on myself back then, I feel like hindered what my athletic ability was. Like, I feel like I wasn't even like it was a weird time. And I went out this time and, the first rep was terrifying. And, you're going down a bobsled track at 83 miles per hour. But eventually, not me, I'm like squished in half. But it's just interesting because my push times were actually really good. And it was so amazing to think like, dang, if I was this athlete I am now back in 2020, like what would have happened? Like, who knows, obviously.
Yeah.
Not saying I would have made the Olympic team, but maybe I would have just done a little bit better and who knows. But it was really cool to put like the nerves. Obviously, you have different kinds of nerves because you're about to go down a bobsled track, but it's like
you are in danger.
the like worry about what I looked like doing it. And it was crazy how quickly it actually came back to me. Mm-hmm. Like even just like the hit of the sled at the beginning of the push, like it all just kind of came back pretty quickly, which was cool. And then actually last week she texted me and she's just a sweetheart. She's just a good human. And she was just like, oh, I just want you to know, she's back in Park City. So she went to Europe and then came back to Park City with a different brakeman. And she was like, you pushed 2/10 better than, than the brake woman I have right now. And she's like, I'm not trying to like compare you guys, but I just want you to know, like, you're a hell of an athlete and you can do anything you put your mind to. She was just being like super sweet. And the sport of bobsled goes off of hundredths. Like a race
Hundredths
can
of a
be won
second.
by 1/100th of a second. So
Okay.
as a push athlete, like 2/10, I'm like, dang, okay.
That's nuts though.
So
Like, so that's a team or a pairs thing. Talking about skill set, like you're always crazy explosive athlete, one of the more impressive strength across the board, doesn't matter the lift. And so like soccer, one L put in there. How many goals did you score in college?
I'll tell you, I have no idea. I would have
All
to
of
like,
them.
I would have,
All of them,
I'm
L.
no, I'm not like my sophomore year was actually my best scoring year. I honestly couldn't even remember.
You played all 4 years though.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot, L. She scored a lot. But talking skill set and like season to season, so I know that dance. And then we both know like team trainer versus individual and then bobsled, which if you guys don't know, the people that are on bobsled teams are like Lolo Jones, Olympic hurdler at LSU, Blaine McConnell, the freakiest athlete I've probably
He's
ever met.
insane.
Like, yeah, yeah, freak. Nice dude. But those are the kind of people, and like you're one of them. So you're probably like female Blaine McConnell in my brain.
Dang, I'll take
They
that.
except you can't jump. Except you can't jump. That's okay.
I mean, I
We
can
can jump
jump,
with the
just
bar.
not like Blaine.
Yeah, you can jump with the bar. But they yeah, a bunch of freaks. And so we were talking about this yesterday, man, like the skill set and kind of the environment. And like you saying that makes me feel like when there's no pressure and there's flow, like the tools have always been there.
It's always
Right.
there.
Yeah, that's always there. So what like mentally for you, what's been like favorite season, like outside of like friend memories and stuff like that? Like, is that one of the times you felt the most flow? Like, because you've been on a bunch of different teams, right? Insert whoever, whenever, or the brand or Joey's team or whoever.
Yeah.
When's the most like your favorite season? It could be team or individual. And like, what's different about like you prepping for a team, even if it's pressure wise or mentality versus prepping for like an individual season like last year?
Okay, wait, I want to make sure I understand the question. You're asking me what has been my favorite season, team or individual?
Yeah.
Okay. My like first thought is I have like two thoughts. Last season was one of my favorite seasons just because of like really seeing like the the seeds grow that I like threw in the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
However, when I think about like what you said about flow and when I compare it to kind of how I just was in Park City in December and like really letting go of what I look like and but what are these people going to think of me? Like when I tried to go individual in 2019, at the end of 2019 and into 2020,
Mm-hmm.
the team I had just competed on, my teammate was like, no, I'm going to go individual this year. And, the other two teammates were doing their thing. And I kind of looked in the mirror and thought, okay, like there's no more team. Let's just see what happens. And I ended up doing like a few of those. It was like an online qualifier got you into like a
Yeah.
few
Yep.
sanctionals
Yep.
or
Yep.
something like that. I think
Yeah.
it's changed so much that sometimes I don't even
It's
remember.
just coming on back. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming back.
So I did the one online qualifier and I got into the Filthy 150 in Ireland. And it also got me into, I think that was how I got into strength and depth.
Yep. It was. I remember.
Okay. At the end of, it was in November, the Filthy 150 in
Great event.
Ireland. I know you were there. It was my first individual go. I mean, I went to regionals in 2017, but this, I'd gone team a bunch after that. And I didn't really have like training, like I wasn't like training with a coach leading up to Filthy 150. I literally just said, okay, I'm going to go to Ireland. I'm just going to like try. I have no idea where I fall against these girls. And it's girls like Sarah Sigmund's daughter and, Sam Briggs. And I'm like,
Sam was there. Yeah.
yeah,
Sam
I'm
was
like,
there.
I have no idea. I might get dead last. I literally had no clue. I was like, maybe I'll get first in the strength event. I don't know.
You crushed that weekend. You crushed.
So I went out there and I didn't care. Like it was one of those like what you just said, like the flow of like, I have no idea what could happen. I'm just gonna give it my all. I don't even have a coach. Like I'm just going. I'm gonna like do my best. And I like people couldn't believe that I was there by myself for one thing. Could not believe it. I mean, like I had people I knew obviously there, but like anyway, so I competed and I honestly don't remember where I got. I think I got like seventh or something.
we won and y'all finished after us. I think you got 6th.
I was near the top 5, and
It was not like if on paper, not a Kelsey event. Like there was
no.
a bike and a run maybe,
Oh,
and then some
yeah, the bike.
weird rope climb workout.
The wet rope climbs. There was, yeah, with the
Yeah.
run with the rope climbs, and
Yeah.
then yeah, there was the one event that I beat Sarah by like a couple seconds was like something I'll always remember. And she was
The
like,
clean and jerk one. The clean and jerk
yeah,
one.
with the wall
Yeah.
balls, I think.
Yeah.
And it was just like it was one of those competitions that I just like flowed. I'm just gonna go see what happens. And that kind of lit a spark under my ass a little bit, like
No, it's there.
well, maybe I got like something. And it was in Ireland that I was laying in bed before one of the nights or before one of the competition days. And I got an email that said you have to pay to commit, like sign up for strength and depth.
Yeah.
And, I had a few sponsors. I like had a job, but like it was just like, oh my gosh, I gotta pay $300 to sign up for a competition. I'm in Ireland now. I'm going back home. I'm gonna then have to figure out how to get to London. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember who I was texting, but I was just like I
Had to
probably
go.
shouldn't do that. Like that's just like a ton of strain that I would have to like figure out how to fund the whole trip, blah blah blah. So I was a little bit stressed about it. And then there was some voice in my head that was like, just sign up. Like if you're out $300, like there's worse things that could happen. So I
YOLO.
remember right before I went to bed, before a day of competition, I secured my spot at Strength and Depth. And even after Filthy 150, I go back to Boston and I'm still training. I'm still just like, I don't know if I can get to London. Like I have no idea if I can afford that, blah, blah, blah. I guess I'm going on another solo trip to Europe, like thinking about these like all the things, the money and all that. And I still don't have a coach. I still am like doing the programming kind of at the gym. Like it was just like a mess as you remember. And then
That was a good
I,
season. Many
what?
good seasons. Good seasons in Boston.
Yeah. So then I remember I was getting ready for Strength and Depth and they released the workouts. And the first event was a 6K run.
She's a
I'm
runner.
like,
She's a track star.
sick.
Yeah. $300, huh? Great.
And then they released all the workouts and there was no just lift event. And I'm like, so this is the competition that I'm going to go do over in London.
Yeah.
And I obviously was like, it was one of those things like, okay, still don't have a coach, still just gonna go try and do my best and see what happens. And again, really good athletes, Laura Horvath, Haley Adams, like
Mm-hmm.
all these girls that I'm like, have looked up to in this sport. I'm just like, I'm gonna try to go do my best. And I chatted with Justin Kotler right before I left, like a couple days. And I said, like, any chance you'll take me on as an athlete? Like, I need a coach. And he said, you know what? Go focus on strength and depth. Like, text me if you need like workout strategy, talk at all. But let's chat when you get back from strength and depth. And it was
He's a
still,
sweetheart.
yeah, he's the best. And it was one of those moments where I was like, okay, here we go. Just gonna go do what I can. And
Mm-hmm.
again, it was just like a flow. I somehow pulled out a 5th place finish. And, that was how I got my first individual ticket to the CrossFit Games. And so that season really, it felt like reward for just like trusting my abilities as an athlete and trusting myself because I literally had no one else at the time. So it was cool. It was really cool. It was obviously heartbreaking not being able to compete after winning that or securing my ticket. I didn't win. I got 5th. And at the time,
You won a ticket.
I won a ticket. But for the people that don't know, at the time, if you went to a sanctional and the people ahead of you already had their ticket to the games, then it got kind of passed down. I got 5th, and the 4 girls ahead of me had already gotten their ticket to the games. So I was lucky enough to get it through that. But yeah, that's probably the season, other than this last season, that it just like it was truly just trusting myself and like the training that I had put in, which felt sporadic and felt unorganized, but yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I remember that year. I remember being there, caught up in my own stuff in Ireland, but being so pumped that you were crushing. And I did not know you like double down and bet on yourself to go to strength and depth. I also didn't know you weren't working with anybody. I don't know why I thought like because you were working at Invictus Gym, you were just getting all the
My
teammates to do their
training
things.
partner at the time was writing our programming. And then he started working with Kotler.
Mm-hmm.
I guess like between Filthy 150 and um, Strength and Depth, I was like doing Justin Kotler's programming
Yeah,
kind of,
secondhand Kotler,
but it
secondhand
was
Kotler.
secondhand. It was just like what my training partner was doing. It was, you know,
Yeah, I mean y'all were similar athletes. That's all right.
yeah,
He
yeah,
Kotler's a sweetheart though. He's one of my favorite people. But I remember, yeah, that season was nuts because I remember I was so pumped because we got in early. We were the first one, so we had like basically a whole year.
yeah.
And then the next one was strength and depth. So you would have had a whole year. Yeah, that was a whole weird thing. But I remember texting you because I was heartbroken for you when they canceled the stuff and pulled tickets and stuff like that.
I just remember the announcement was like on Instagram about like how they were
Yeah,
going to
that's so
change it.
nonchalant. Yeah,
And I remember exactly where I was, and I was on the assault runner. I was like walking just to kind of get warmed up before a session. And I remember seeing that post on Instagram and like thinking about it and thinking about the math and thinking about who was ahead of me at strength and depth, who then needed to get their ticket through strength and depth. And I put my phone down and I went to my training partner. I was like, I'm getting my invite rescinded. I bet you.
yeah, that's
And
all
sure
right.
enough, I got the email later that day.
Hey, that's all right. Memories, just all these memories. But yeah, I remember my first year was 15. You went in 16 was first time, right? Team. So that's
Hmm.
parallax with the girls.
Hmm.
Kelly's first time, which I stole that year. She was my friend in Ireland.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Shout out pregnant Kelly. Congratulations. But yeah, dude, it's been nuts. And then this last year, I was proud to see like I love the flow stories, like where I feel like that's what you actually see what's in the tank and kind of where you can just step it out and see what you got instead of all this kind of preconception stuff and this
Yeah.
pressure on yourself. Do you feel like last year there's more pressure on yourself knowing like I'm working with L, I don't want to let him down. All these people at Go are loving on me. I rented this house, or on the teams, like with Joey, with Invictus people? Do you feel like there's more pressure without them or with them?
That's tough because if we're going back to Invictus teams, there was a different kind of pressure. I felt like that kind of pressure was more of the like, I need to not make a fool of myself so that I don't make a fool of the people on my team. And
Mm,
it was, I would say, less of a healthy pressure. Moving to go team with Joey and Nick the 2 years that I did, that kind of pressure was like, these guys are like my brothers and I don't want to let
yeah.
them down. And obviously Ashley and Emily as well.
Mm-hmm.
I just say those two because they were the two guys on the team both years. But there was something about this last season that, like, I don't know, like for anyone that's met Elle in person, it's like for me, we're not that far apart in age at all. But like
Mm-hmm.
I felt like he was like my older brother that I needed to like not let him down. And so I had like that pressure. And I just like I knew how much he was investing in me that I like all I wanted to do was like obviously make myself proud and,
Mm-hmm.
my now fiance and my parents and things like that. But like there was something like special about my relationship with him that I was just like, I want to like show him that like your work in me has paid off. Like it was one of those kinds of things, but it eventually got to the point, I think it was kind of like maybe it was after quarterfinals because I surprised myself with some of those workouts that it was less of like I need to make Elle proud and it was more like I want to shut some people up and I want to go just
Fuck yeah.
like uh yeah, I want to go crush it. I want people who doubted me to be like, "Oh, damn, we were wrong," kind of deal. And it became more of like kind of fun. Like, I just want to go like secure my ticket and, because yeah, like a little bit like that, especially with some of those lovely podcasts out there. But,
Yeah.
it became more of like, dang, I just want to go do this. Like, this is my all in year. And it was clear to me, having spent more time in Baton Rouge with Elle and with Amber, it was like, they're already proud of me. They're already
Yep.
like, they already see that if Elle told me to do Murph and I came in and was dying and he said, okay, you have 5 minutes to go do it again, I'd be like,
Got it.
F you, but okay. Like, like he knew that I was going to do what he told me to do. And, with Amber's support, it just like, I could tell that they were already like proud of me. And so it became less of like, I need them to like be proud and more of like, yeah, let's go show them what we got kind of deal. And it was fun. And it did flow. And the thing is, the workout that kept me out of the CrossFit Games had a movement in it that I wasn't bad at anymore. Like I had worked really hard on handstand walking, but I
Mhm.
just can't run on my hands like some of these girls who were gymnasts can. And the truth of the matter is, could I have gone a little like done a little bit better in that workout having focused a little bit more? Maybe, but like it's hard to think like, oh, I missed going to the CrossFit Games because of a handstand walk workout. But it's also like I wasn't bad at handstand walking. And
No.
I know that I wasn't. And so like I am at peace with the fact like I literally gave it my all and I grew so much as a person and an athlete. And, it was a year that I'll never ever forget because it was just, yeah, it was so much fun and it was really hard and all the good things.
Well, dude, that's the I don't know why my like homie memory is so good, but like it's not far removed from like full breakdown handstand walking at the games, right?
Yeah.
And Joey patting you on the back, which I know Joey on the floor. Against him, with him, psychopath will love on you in a crazy way.
He's
But
the best.
you're not far removed from that, and like it was still, and I've known you long enough to where it was not a good thing, and it was so much better, right? And putting yourself self against self is rough, and those things were
Tough.
obviously like we're on a leaderboard. Yeah, it sucks, but dude, the running workout, smash. Muscle up workout. I text 2 or 3 people. I was like, "Who is she?" Yeah, I was like,
She's
"Who?" I was like,
running. She's
"Who
muscle
is she?"
up.
Yeah, yeah. But and that's what it's crazy, dude. That's what I said. There'll always be like the picture of peak us, like peak expression. That's always where the bar is. And I hate that sometimes like we'll move the bar based on how we feel and what the event is, and you forget those things, like when you couldn't, right? Or like 2015 or 16, Kelsey in classes learning that you might want to be competitive and like, and so, and you have those conversations, like you have nutrition clients to where like it's a different version, but the same story. And
Totally.
yeah, I think
Totally.
keeping
Yeah.
yourself in line with that stuff's good. All right, let's do 2 more Instagram message things, and I'll let you go. I'm gonna
I'm
soak up your whole
scared of
day.
some of these Instagram questions.
They're not crazy. We did
Okay.
the who writes brute body thing and the training.
Yeah. It's
I
for
think those
everyone.
have
I
been.
just like want to iterate the fact that like I said, garage gym, Globo gym, CrossFit gym, it's all adaptable.
We'll do this. This is the last one we'll do.
Okay.
This is so bad. This is Matt asked this, so you can put it on Matt. This is like the most grown up Indeed interview question ever. Hey, what's your
No,
5-year plan? What's your 5-year plan?
that's his question.
Yeah, and I know the text message answer, but you can say whatever you want.
Okay, my 5-year plan. No, I don't have a 5-year plan. My 1-year plan is to plan a banger of a wedding, and I'm really excited about that. And then my 2-year plan is to have a baby.
Oh, that's okay. I was talking about that back end of the 5. I knew that's what you would say, but I was like, okay,
No,
2
that's like,
years.
let's get that going. We can do that right now if you want. No, we're gonna wait till after the wedding, but
And this is a competition. She wants her kid to be similar age to Kelly's, and don't think it's not.
I know that's why I'm like,
Yeah.
she jumped the gun. No,
Wait, when she do? When she do?
May
You
2nd.
know? Oh yeah, dude. Fresh off a baby wedding, Kelly, it's gonna be nuts.
I can't wait for fresh off baby bachelorette, Kelly.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's gonna be crazy.
No, I don't like have a 5-year plan. What's really cool, and I forget who I was just talking about this with, but like I do feel like I said at the beginning of this, like have been doing high performance and sport and athletics for so long that like someone asked me like, is it hard to not compete right now? And at first some of it, yes, like it is the actual like getting out on the competition floor. I like think that I'm really gonna miss that. But the Echo Bike sprint into a sandbag squat workout, no, I
Yeah.
ain't missing
Okay.
that. Trust me. So it is kind of cool to like be in this place where I feel really at peace with like where I'm at. And also, my fiance is very much in the like still chase the dream era. And I'm in
Yeah,
the
dude.
like, I'm going to support you chasing your dream era. And like that feels really fun because obviously, like, it's a different sport than CrossFit, but like I get to like still be involved in sport and like support him,
Yeah, dude.
making his way through the minor leagues and then one day into the major leagues. Like it's really cool to also be learning a new sport and learning all the intricacies of pitching and things like that. So it feels cool to be able to like, okay, I'll just like have your baby while we support you doing your thing kind of deal. And it just like, I don't know, it just feels right. And I also remember when I was living in Boston, at the time, her last name was Lemoyne, but Jessa, now Plosker, was on the team at, it wasn't Invictus at the time, but she was like a big, she was a big athlete when it came to the grid league and then on their team. And she was kind of like ready to be done competing. And I would remember being like, how did you know you were like ready? And she's like, trust me, I'm just like ready. And I was like, yeah, I'm definitely not there yet.
Yeah.
And, I fast forward 6 years, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ready.
Dude, I think the weird part to me when you do nutrition coaching, so you'll kind of empathize with this. Jeff does my stuff, right? And you met Jeff, sweetheart, my best friend,
Yeah.
little brother. He sent me, and this is his quote: "Regular person macros. I'm starving, but I do, and it makes me feel not as bad, and like I don't have to go train for 4 hours. But yeah, dude, I see like the kind of light, like even in Jacksonville, me and you were talking, like it's so much different, like the way you're being loved on, and like the shift that's gone on through the years, and where like you know what that needs to look like for you, and then like you're receiving it, and so it changes so many things. There's never a time where I thought you and I would talk about laying this down and it being so like nonchalant and okay.
Yeah.
And like having two kids, like the way like we love things and people and allow them, and like people can see that about you when people are lining up to like take pictures with you at Wadapalooza at the Chesty booth. And so it's not foreign. And like when y'all do end up having a baby, dude, and even like when you get to hold Kelly's before then,
Mm,
it's oh, it's
yeah, no.
nuts. And so, and mine are a little psychopaths right now. Like the little one's shoes are all over this room. So it's but no, dude, it's been one of my favorite things to like get to walk through all this stuff, and like our friendship's been really cool, and like it's been very similar, especially last year, dude. I was so pumped. Like, and also, what else was I gonna say? There's one other question we had. Oh, you brought it up. So the grid league thing, you got you got requested.
Okay, so we're just gonna like leave a big question mark out there because if I'm being completely transparent, I don't really like I understand the concept of grid, but I don't totally get it. Like I have to go like watch a few matches because I just like don't totally like I understand it, I think, but like I have
Did
to
you
get
did you
it.
do it when they like first came around?
No, so that's actually why I moved kind of to Boston.
To try, yeah.
I was that's how I like met That's how I met Josh Plosker at the start of all of that was because he owned the Boston Iron when that was a thing. And, a person on the Iron was like, she would be great. So, like, I had talked to Josh then. Um, and then obviously that league disbanded. But I've always like been interested in it. And I do kind of the concept of being like a utility player and like, I don't have to do ring muscle ups and handstand
I
walk.
only get to do things I
I can
enjoy.
only barbell cycle and lift heavy things. Like that would be kind of cool. But I also just don't know in my life right now if I can commit to like the travel and things like that. And I do think obviously my training would have to change a little bit for that, but I also don't
Maybe.
want to have to change it that much. So those are just things that I would need to weigh and talk to Elle about and talk to
Yeah.
these people that have reached out crazy
Yeah.
like in the last couple of weeks. Like
Spring training's in Florida. So I
his
think
spring training's in Arizona.
is it really? I thought everybody oh well when they go to like play weird exhibition games in Florida. I don't know
No,
baseball,
like
Kelsey.
certain teams are in Florida and certain teams are in Arizona.
Oh, okay. Touche. Either way it's good weather. But yeah, dude, it's always good talking to you.
Yeah, this is fun.
I know you're not going outside to do wall balls in the snow, so where's
It's an
Oliver?
active recovery day. Come on.
Where's Oliver?
Oliver is downstairs.
Good.
We got a new couch and he like the other night I brought him up here to like go to sleep and he ditched me and went down to the couch. I'm like, okay, rude.
He's a gray faced old man now. He don't
Yeah,
need
oh
your snuggles
man.
anymore.
Oh man.
He's so funny, man. All right, bud. Where can people find you?
Mostly just Instagram. My Instagram handle is Kiel.
What other stuff? It's Black Iron Nutrition.
Black Iron
What
Nutrition.
else you got?
I was gonna plug that.
Yeah.
I have a wait list right now, but some really exciting things coming from Black Iron soon too, which will, keep an eye on that.
Awesome. Wait, you're doing performance stuff with them too, right? Like a little bit of programming? Who's doing that now? Is it
Like
you? Like yeah.
no, I
Is
don't
this
work on the training side at all.
just kidding then.
But
Nutrition.
I'm the director of our performance nutrition
That's it. That's what I
group.
saw.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. Just
So
kidding.
we like to focus on fueling for performance. And that's why I talked about the athlete thing. Like, yeah, you're an athlete. You need to like fuel for your workout. Yeah. We can
It
work.
makes that carb conversation a lot easier.
Yeah.
All right, guys. An hour of Brute Podcast with Dex and Kelsey has been plenty. Thanks for tuning in, man, and we'll see you guys next time.
Adios.
That was good. Hold on.